Welcome back to the Red Stool. And today we're talking about My Hero Academia, chapter 311. Here we go. So, at the start of the chapter, we have the top three superheroes. They're teaming up and they're, just trying to round up all of the escaped convicts that have been just running amok and causing chaos. And of course, as they're rounding these guys up, they don't have any sort of information on One for All. Like, hey, listen, the reason that we're out of jail is because of you. Is to distract you guys so that way he can, finish doing whatever it is that he needs to do. He set us out here. We got the support items, and he told us to basically just wreak havoc, so which is what we've been doing. And so, of course, they have to feel like it makes Endeavor feel somewhat like it's his fault, especially when the criminal's like, I'm out here because of you, Endeavor, because, they need to keep you distracted so they can further whatever plans they have. And it seems as though the public is somewhat sharing these same sentiments because they're, now, they're getting emboldened to a degree where they feel as comfortable as they can throw like trash and whatever at them and like berate them, saying, hey, you guys aren't real heroes, you're fakes, this is all your fault. Who are they really chasing? We know they're not chasing you, and it's pretty sad to see. Like, I can understand there being, unrest within society, but these people literally just watched them stop a group of villains, and they're calling them fake heroes. After all the other heroes have deserted you, the only ones that are there for you that are actively out here trying to stop these villains and escaped convicts, and, this is how they treat them. Yes, is what Endeavor did in the past wrong? Yes. Is it wrong that his kid is out killing people? Yes, it is. But also, he's doing everything that he can right now to right these wrongs and trying. He didn't just retire like the other heroes. The only reason that you're able to, look him in the eyes and say it's all his fault and seeing your face makes me so unhopeful is because he's out here doing his job, trying to be the number one hero and protect Hero Society. So I feel like, certain members of the public are kicking him while he's down, but there has to be other people out there that are supporting him. And maybe in the next couple chapters, we can see that. We'll get to see the other side of the coin, to where as though it's still people out here who believe in what Hero Society was and that they can come back from this. But right now, we're in dark. Hero Society is in dark days. So, but it was I liked, the detail that Horikoshi did add, because you can see how much it gets to Endeavor, because as they're walking away, you don't see his flames. Like the flames on his face or the flames on his body, they don't look as if they're ignited, how they always are. And you see that Hawks, he puts an arm around him to come, which is sweet, because we know, Hawks looked up to Endeavor, since he was a little kid. So, just having him comfort, somebody that he looked up to, it's a sweet moment. But it also makes me acknowledge the fact that, Endeavor, he's taking all of this to heart. He's taking it personally. He probably even feel, with his son being involved with the league and just him trying to atone and be a good number one hero and example for the world. It's all weighing on him. I'm glad they have Best Jenis and Hawks there to, give him that support that he needs, that push on the back. So, with them, hopefully they can stay grounded. And as they leave, as the top three leave, they're having this conversation in regards to, what they're doing with Deku. So their plan is to basically use Deku as bait to lure out All for One and get them to strike, so then they can, kind of counter strike. But, I've already stated my feelings on the plan. I feel like it's a little loose. Doesn't really make too much sense. They kind of keep a bit of a distance between Deku and themselves. It seems like roughly 2 kilometers, but as they're trailing Deku as he's off, doing his hero works and being a vigilante, because they also don't want to get too close to him, because then he's going to start what they're going through right now with, people calling them, berating them and being, super ungrateful for all the work that they're doing. They don't want him to get the same thing. They don't want to be like, oh, well, hey, he's in league with them, so he has to be just the same. And it kind of brings them to the topic of discussion, which is, how can we get some solid, evidence or any sort of idea as to where All For One is, or what even is his plan. And, Hawks, they bring up the fact that, hey, we know his end goal is to attack Deku, steal his little brother back, but it seems like he's going to, in some sort of process, try to steal Shigaraki's body, or use Shigaraki in his rage as a tool to get what he wants, and then maybe potentially, we don't know, discard Shigaraki afterwards. But we don't know his steps, but we have a general outline as to what he wants to do. And, it actually brings up the topic of, why is Shigaraki's rage so important? And, Hawks, he touches on the fact that, well, hey, when you kind of look at him, he's always kind of had a smile on his face. Like and, with him saying that, it does make me think and like reminisce on, like, what? All For One, he's that cold, calculating, methodical type of person. There's probably not a lot of emotion or any emotion in like what he's doing and how he goes about things. He's just, he's just going by the book, dot for dot, letter for letter. He's not, emotionally motivated, which is probably a big part of why he's so successful in what he does, because he's not acting out of anger, sadness, or joy. The only thing we know he really wants is his little brother. Even then, when his little brother wanted nothing to do with him, he didn't react to him in any sort of angry way. You can see their conversations and how he has that very casual, like, smirk and like demeanor to him when he's talking, like, hey, look, I even got you a quirk, so that way, you can have some power too. It's okay. You'll come around eventually and you'll see things my way. He's always been that cold and collected person, which kind of makes sense, because now, that's why he needs Shigaraki in his rage so much. And when Shigaraki was a kid and he gave him the hands of all of his deceased family members, just to keep him in that agitated state, because he's been building him up to be this, villain that destroys Hero Society since he was a child. And half of it was, to jokingly get a jab at All Might, and the other half, I guess, is, to get what he's really been after, which is his little brother. So, we're getting to the point where we're realizing that All For One, he's not really, he's not, an overly an emotional kind of guy. The only time in the series that we've really heard him showing any sort of emotion is when he was describing the battle that he had with All Might, where it left, when he saw, All Might get back up after, he had punched the hole in his stomach and his guts were hanging out, and he was still coming after him, and he expressed fear. He was like, that's the scariest thing I've ever seen. I think about that in my nightmares. That's the only emotion we've ever known him to truly express is fear. So, it's a really interesting point that Hawks brings up. And as they're having this discussion, it's now that we see All For One make his first move against Deku. And, Deku, he's, out and about doing his, hero duties, and he gets attacked. Like, the cell phone tracker or whatever, I feel like it's also it's like probably like a cell phone. His cell phone that he has, it gets like shot out of his hand. And, whatever type of projectile it is like the person, she's able to speak through it. And she's saying, like, hey, kid, listen, if you want to keep, the rest of your arms, if you want to keep the rest of your limbs, just cooperate, come with me, we can leave peacefully, or you can be a cripple like my friend over here. It's that other nameless woman that One For All broke out of Tartarus with him. And Chikaisky, he's with her as well. He's, still going through his emo phase from what it looks. He doesn't have arms, which I'm kind of curious as to, like, what is he going to do if he does not have arms? So that's that's interesting. Or, unless he has some sort of support item that also can allow him to use his quirk. But if that was the case, then I feel like he would just he would just put his arms back the way that they were. But, it's interesting. And I know when Deku, he probably hasn't seen him yet, but when he does see him, it's going to trigger a very strong emotional response because of, everything that he did with Eri. And it's probably not going to be like the time that he was fighting Muscular. And he was just like, oh, it's just you, Muscular. No, he's going to be like, he's going to see Chikaisi and he's going to still remember everything that he did to Eri. And, now everything that that he's participating in as well, because that normal life that she was starting to have has now been disrupted with everything that All For One's doing, and he's actively helping him. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be no, love lost there, and they're not going they're still going to have that hatred for each other. Well, at least Deku probably will, but it looks like Chikaisi mentally, he's checked out ever since he lost his arms. But the woman, back to, the woman and whatever her quirk is, it's like, the gun that extends out of her arm. And it looks pretty, I'm not going to, I wonder whatever her quirk is called. It looks cool. It's probably some sort of mutation quirk. And I also wonder, like, what type of projectiles is she shooting? And I guess, we understand now why she ended up in Tartarus, because she seems to be some sort of assassin and pretty good at it, because she's also able to, drop some sort of explosive device on All Might in his car. I'm pretty sure he isn't dead. He might be a little bit banged up, but, that's probably just to prevent him from helping out in any sort of way. Also, we could see if All Might's car has any sort of fancy attachments and, if it does anything extra like Best Genesis car does. So with that, this is going to be, I like this, the fight that they're building up. We get another good fight. I feel like, what we had with Muscular a couple chapters ago was a little bit of a teaser, and now we're actually going to get a good fight between Deku. And better yet, now that I think about it, like, it's just popped into my head. We know that he's been talking to the first user of One For All, and he has a range quirk. He was using some sort of support device to, as a range quirk, and so we could have like some sort of shootout here. Looking forward to that, if that's how he's gonna, figure out, oh, okay, this is, how I use your quirk, and if he's gonna indeed like be able to use his gloves as a medium instead of, because we know the first year he had some sort of, they look like cannons, like cannon support items on his arms. So maybe Deku can get that same effect by using his gloves. And he'll probably, knowing Deku, he's probably going to pick up some things like, oh, okay, this is how I can use my quirk at long range against somebody like you. Now, immediately, we know his ranged attacks, the smash attacks from range, they're all right, but we don't know how far away she is from him. So he can probably use the smoke screen to recover and then mount a counter attack, but it's going to be interesting. But, and I wonder, either Chikaisi is like her little pet that she's, like kind of maybe taken akin to just because she helped them out in the jail. So maybe now, they've just been palling around with each other. Or he's going to be able to use his quirk and help out if Deku is able to get close enough to her. If he can, close that gap, then she'll be at a disadvantage just because it looks like she's some sort of sniper using, long range attacks, and close range is going to more so suit Deku. So maybe that's where Chikaisi comes in, because at close range, he's a great fighter. Interesting. Also, it brings me back to my point about how they're going about this all wrong when it comes to Deku staying away from everybody to try to prevent anyone from getting hurt. Because now, All For One, he's been able to engineer this situation to where as though he has Deku alone. The top three, they're about, 2 kilometers away. Sure, they can probably get there in time, but I feel like this is an attack. This is like a probing attack. He wants to see where Deku is at. He knows that he's mastering the quirk more and more, but he just wants to see where he's at and see how they would react to him getting attacked. Because now, either the big three, they're going to have to fall back and just let it play through and let Deku handle it. But, he's not going to be able to communicate with them with his cell phone anymore because he destroyed it. So they're going to have to play it by ear. Like, do we fall back and just let him fight it out? Or, do we jump in and take her out, but then, it shows our hand? Even though this shows that All For One, he's been watching them already. And like I said, I really think we're going to have the end of this crazy climactic battle at UA. And wow. Again, that would be crazy if he's actually hiding out in one of these schools that they're using as temporary shelters. Because right now, everybody's a refugee. But we do know that, we know about all of his connections, and we do know about the traitor in UA. So what if he's already at UA right now being harbored? Because they would have the resources if he was trying to complete Shigaraki's transformation. What if that could be the case? Just a theory, a rough theory right now, but that he could have access to UA through the traitor to use their resources to get what he wants. And that would be some good storytelling. Also, how he could force Deku to come to him. Like, listen, I want to fight you right here where all your friends and family members are, because, that's the type of petty person that he is, maximum casualties. So next chapter is definitely going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing, what her quirk is, or even what her name is, and where is All For One hiding. Right now, I just thought my money is on UA, but, we're going to see in time. I'm going to see y'all later. Thanks for watching. Definitely do me a favor. Hit the like, subscribe button. Give me some interaction. Let me know what y'all feeling, what you're not feeling. All right? Now, I hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all week. We'll see y'all later. Peace.